this. Amazing. Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Thursday. So this activation is to free yourself from the illusion and the ego, increase transcendent passion, and while creating an erotic way to enlightenment. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to share. Please let me know when you're here in the chat by saying hi or dropping in an emoji. If you're watching this later, do hashtag replay, and then you can ask any questions or answer any of the questions I ask during the activation. So as most of you know, I guide women into awakened sexuality, empowered relationship dynamics, and mastering divine feminine leadership. Whew. It's a 9-month initiation and certification to activate your shakti power. That's your creatrix power. Unleash your voice and magnetize your audience as a recognized leader and healer in the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda, spirituality, and sacred sexuality. It's all of the beautiful divine feminine things in one perfect package that also is a certification so that you can teach it to others. And I still have 2 spots for the 2K scholarship offer. So if you're ready to manifest, embrace abundance, and embody the goddess while creating a positive impact with your unique gifts and talents and stepping into your soul's purpose, this is perfect for you, and I would love to chat. If you're ready to improve your romantic relationship or attract a soul partner, then this journey is totally for you, and I would love to have a heart-to-heart chat. So I put the link in the description, and you can hit that and sign up for a chat and we can talk. Okay, so psychic abilities, healing relationships, shifting timelines to bring your dreams to you faster and easier. This is what we're doing. We're doing all of the deep, dark goddess, underworld, shadow, healing, and integration so that manifesting is easy, having the dream partner is easy, attracting new clients is easeful. Like the divine feminine, you know this, I say this almost every activation, right? The divine feminine is this open-hearted, sensual, primal, wild woman that also has an energetic boundary so that she can go out into the world and not be affected so much that she gets thrown off, right? It's always anchoring down from the heart down through the womb to the earth, anchoring down energetically. So I would love to start this off. Let me just make sure I can see. Let me see if I can just double check the comments. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see. Also, I know some of you wanted to be tagged when I go live, so I'm going to take a moment briefly to tag some of you so that you can join me if you're able to. Let's see who wanted to get tagged. Let's see. I love doing these lives and sharing from my heart, even though it is kind of scary and vulnerable sometimes. It's a great example of the divine feminine, so I enjoy it, and it's so much more fun when you all can come and join me live. So let me just finish. Who else wanted to join us live? I'm trying to remember. Hopefully I got everyone. Let's see. Also, let me just double check the sound. Okay, awesome. I hear myself. That's great. Turn that down. Okay. I think also, who else wanted to get tagged? I believe. Let me just check really quick. I know I made a post about it and some of you have commented, so I just want to honor that. As I wait for it to think. I love Vajrayogini, and I didn't even know who she was when I first came across her. So let me see where that post is, where some of you commented. Okay, Adele, Roy, Tracy. Okay, let me tag Tracy. Tracy. That didn't work. I wonder if there was a way I could tag y'all before I go live. Let me know if you know any of that. Julie. Okay. And like I said, let me know when you're here, just with a comment or an emoji or something like that. All right, let me just check. Cool. Awesome. So I've tagged some of you. Hopefully you can join. All right. So I would like, my first question to you is, have you heard of Vajrayogini? Because she is not as well known as, and I'll put that in the chat too, some of the questions. She's not as well known. You know, she comes from either Tibetan Buddhism or Vajrayana Buddhism. She actually has her own thing. And she is one of the first divine feminine masters that I really came to know. I was told that I was the embodiment of her, and I was like, I don't know who that is. And then I saw this picture of her, you know, this is my figurine of her, you know, and she's got skulls around her neck, and she's slayed someone, and she's got these sometimes depicted with snakes, and I was just like, I'm a good Christian girl, I don't know about this. Way back, right, way back in the day. And it was interesting too, because yeah, well, I'll get into that in a second. So she has this rich lineage of devotees. She's seen as the female Buddha and a Dakini. Dakini is a sky dancer, a term that describes a female supernatural being or an accomplished yogini. Vajrayogini, or like I said, Vajrayana Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism is generally where you find her. And when I was on my 9th dimensional activation in Ecuador, that is, and that was in 2018, 17 to 18. That is when I met some Vajrayana devotees, and they have a very rigorous practice of tapas, of austerity. Her chants are long, and they chant them, and it's not really something that you do if you're not initiated into that religion. So Vajra usually is translated as diamond or thunderbolt. And as someone, for me, who's passionate and super deep into transcendence through intimacy, through sacred sexuality, and all of life, intimacy with all of life, she's been close to my heart for over 10 years now. So her brilliant red color body symbolizes the blazing of her inner fire of spiritual transformation, as well as life force, which is the shakti, the blood of birth and menstrual blood. So that was kind of foreshadowing in my life, right? Because I've done so much with the womb and the menstrual cycle, and really being aligned and in cyclical living. So meeting Vajrayogini so early, I think of that as a foreshadowing of the way that I honor the blood. And you can actually see on my womb altar back there some blood, which is kind of funny. Okay, so her single face symbolizes that she's realized that all phenomena are of one nature in emptiness. You know, Buddhism has got a lot of, you know, a lot of that stuff. Her 2 arms symbolize her realization of the 2 truths. Her 3 eyes symbolize her ability to see everything past, present, and future. She looks upward toward the pure Dakini land, demonstrating her attainment of outer and inner pure Dakini-ness, and indicating that she leads her followers to these attainments. So by praying to her or honoring her, you're really able to see past the illusion of your ego, of society, of the non-spiritual world, or the illusion that it isn't spiritual, if you will. The curved knife in her right hand shows her power to cut the continuum of delusions and obstacles of her followers and of all living beings, right? So a lot of times when you see the skulls, you see the weapons, it's all about slaying your demons, slaying your obstacles, moving forward on your spiritual path and evolution. Drinking the blood, which is what she's doing from the Kapala in her left hand, symbolizes her experience of supreme bliss. Yeah, so like I was saying, Vajrayogini's yoga tantra practice is believed to be a faster path to enlightenment. So traditionally, both mantras and practices of Vajrayogini are secret, even though many mantras now are available on the internet and in books. Traditionalists warn that only qualified teachers can provide proper guidance for the use of these mantras. And after I spoke to the devotee in Ecuador, I would not share. I mean, you can Google mantras for her if you want, but I wouldn't personally share one in an activation because I care very much about traditions and honoring things. And I'm not officially, in Vajrayogini's lineage. I have not been initiated into it. So we are going to activate, but we're not going to use her mantras out of respect. So I see someone's here. So hi, please say hi in the chat or drop an emoji. It's nice to see you. Okay, so it's not exclusive. Vajrayogini, she's not exclusive, and anyone can honor her or pray to her or meditate on her or with her as an external deity. However, without the initiation, generally one's not permitted to visualize the self as Vajrayogini and probably not chant the mantra. So when it was my first tantra partner, when he shared that I was an embodiment of Vajrayogini, I was a little taken aback. I didn't know about the rich lineage and the austerity, and I wasn't aware. Oh, hi Adele, thank you for saying hi. Yeah, I wasn't really aware of that might make some people upset. Identifying with her. So that was an interesting thing to come across later. I'm like, oh, because I've had her on my altars, all of my altars, since I started creating altars, 10 years ago. So that was kind of an interesting thing, but yeah, not as self-identifying with her exactly is part of that tradition. Anyways, Adele, have you heard of Vajrayogini? Because I definitely had not until my partner at the time had said, I wouldn't call him a partner necessarily, but tantra partner, said that I was like an embodiment of her. And he was saying that because of my fierceness and my passion and the energy when I'm in that sexual setting, it runs so hot. And when the energy transmutes from sexual to spiritual. And also because I embrace my shadow and my ego to, this is the first time. Okay, cool. To release illusion. So my next question for you, Adele, and anyone watching this later or anyone else joining is, have you experienced any sacred sexuality or sex where there was a shift of energy or something changed or something seemed deeper? I'm just curious. And if not, would you like to? Right. And that's something that I would love to know, especially if you're watching this later, do #replay and be like, yes, I remember once when a third energy entered the room, or my vision got fuzzy, or I was looking at my partner's eyes and it seemed like things changed or something, anything along those lines. Because I love sacred sexuality and I love sacred sex and the sex magic of Isis and all that stuff. So I would love to know if anyone else is into that, or if you would like to know more. So please put that in the chat if you are able. Okay, so since we're not going to do a mantra, I do have an activation and you can repeat it after me. Yeah, Yes, I'm so glad that you put that in the chat, Adele. Thank you for playing along with me, if you will. The connection felt deeper than ever, and it felt very healing. Yes, this is why I love sacred sexuality, because it is healing. It's like a deep soul remembering. And like just mindful sex then shifts from using or abusing each other, or something that's low vibrational. As soon as it's mindful and there's a little bit of eye contact or breathing or anything, an honoring, an intention, a heart salutation at the beginning. I can share that. Let me put that on my notes so that I can share that in a few minutes, because that's a really great way to get into this stuff. Heart salutation. Okay. It really shifts it so that afterwards it feels healing. You feel seen and heard in a deeper way. And that's like the base foundational level. And then once you start to progress with a partner, which is, hard to do, it's hard to find. Sometimes men are uncomfortable being so vulnerable because you have to be radically vulnerable in order to create the container for the transmutation of sexual to spiritual. And so that can be really hard a lot of times for men and women. I mean, it's hard for all of us to be vulnerable. And that's like what opens the gate to move through stages of sacred sexuality to come into a space of enlightenment, to come into a space of it's healing. And now it's not even just healing. Now I'm starting to move out of time and space. Like now I'm starting to move into enlightened space. Now I have the third energy. In the sex magic of Isis, it's called Horus. When I first experienced it, I just thought it was God. I was like, oh, the divine is here. It's a third energy that comes in to be with the two. And then that's where it, is enlightening. It can be very enlightening. And that's why in Vajrayogini's lineage, it's like, well, this is one of the faster ways to enlightenment, sacred sexuality, which is why I was like, oh, this is cool. Sex can be a way to enlightenment. Like, I'm in, sign me up. Like, that sounds great. Because meditating was hard for me. I had a lot of anxiety when I first started meditating, and it was hard to sit. Okay, so let's do the activation together. Okay, so you can repeat after me, or you can listen. I'll attempt to go slow enough so you can repeat it. And if you want to, before you start, embody your abundance, sensual, rich, juicy, lush frequency, just step into that with a breath. Yes, I'm a goddess. Right? Get in there. Frequency. Boop, 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 boop. Right. Okay. Fuck yes to myself. I am a sensual goddess. I break through illusion. I love my body. Yes to my creatrix pussy. My right is bliss. I am love. I am light. I am the embodiment of the goddess. I magnetize healthy relationships to me. I am worth it. I am divine. I am magical. I now activate my womb wisdom. I now call in only lovers who worship at the altar of my body. Yes. I now send everyone love, and I come home to divine love, abundance, radiance, presence, and faith. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is done. Ooh, chills. Okay, so yeah, let me know how that landed for you. I can put that in the chat as well, in case anyone wants to check it out later. Cool. Awesome. Any comments on that one? Yeah, powerful. Exactly. I love that comment. Thank you. Yeah, it is powerful. And it's important to see where there's the wobble or the waver, like I'm the embodiment of the goddess. Was that where there was a waver? Or I'm worth it. So noticing that, because that's where that's like a little like, hey, you can do some work here, right? It's like your intuition saying, oh, there was a waver there. Like maybe we need to think about the fact that as a human, my right is bliss. Or whatever, whichever one, sensual goddess. I mean, whatever. I love my body. I mean, it doesn't matter. Any of those could be a little bit hard to say or believe. And so just noticing that as you read them or repeat them later when doing this activation. Okay. So I think it was earlier this year. I think it was like earlier this year that I was like, okay, I'm calling in. I only want to make love with someone who's worshiping at the altar of my body. And it is manifesting. That was only like 2 or 3 months. It was pretty quick. And it feels so good. It feels so good to be honored, honored. I still have a little bit of a cold. Honored and worshiped and adorned, and having men give you like sexy dances, like it was so fun. Like it's such a fun reality. Or reading you poetry or words from their heart. Like, oh my God. So you have to believe that it can happen. You have to start to be like, yes, this is what I want. Yes. And that was something that Elaine said in a call at one point, was just like, yes, that frequency of yes. Yes, I'm calling in this worshiping at the altar of my body. Yes. And that means you're also going to worship back. Just, FYI, throwing that out there. Okay. So some tips I have for sexual energy, all of this stuff that we've been talking about with releasing illusion, Vajrayogini. So one is like there's like, you can YouTube this, but doing meditations where you call back your sexual energy. So you're releasing the cords of exes or past lovers, or right, that energetic. So that's a really powerful thing to do. It's not easy. I highly recommend it. I do it a couple times a year, usually. Just like, okay, I'm going to call back more energy, I'm going to release, and it's not necessarily a one and done. A lot of these types of things aren't necessarily one and done, right? Because we have this ego and the mind and the body and it's storing stuff. So, right, it's a journey. So that is one. Another one is jade eggs. I have mine on my altar here. I have some on my womb altar too. A jade egg. This is a rose quartz one. This is I think this is, I don't remember what this is. Maybe onyx. I'm not sure. Or it's a black one. This one's a little too big. This one's about right for me right now. I have a smaller one too. Haven't upgraded to that one yet. I have to work on my Kegel muscles a little more. And then bloodstone. This was not a tip I was going to share, but my first energy master, first crystal I ever got, another foreshadowing of this menstrual blood and all that juiciness, bloodstone. So bloodstone, I don't know if that's very clear. I hope it's clear. This is not a polished one. This is just a non-polished one, but bloodstone is good for womb connection, menstrual flow, hormone balance. Thank you, Maya, for giving this to me. She gave this to me the same day she taught me how to use pendulums. So that was a pretty special day. Honored her yesterday in the Day of the Dead. So yeah, it's taking a moment. Love you, Maya. Thank you. What an amazing teacher and friend. So that's a great stone just to start to connect with some of this stuff. And then the heart salutation. So what you do, if you can get your partner, husband, lover, whoever, to do this, you can sit across each other and you can either put your hand on your own heart, or I usually like to put my hand on their heart and one hand on my heart. and you honor each other as divine. So you say, I honor you as an embodiment of the divine masculine or the divine feminine or just the divine, whatever resonates for you. You let the words come naturally, but it's essentially like, I honor you, I respect you, I love you, I worship you, and my intention in this space is to release expectations and to release the monkey mind or anything along those lines. So you have, I like to do it naked, kind of like sitting in the guy's lap, but however you want to do it. And you have your hands on your heart, his heart or your heart or her heart, doesn't really matter. Or you can do them both on your own. And you look at each other and then bring your hands to your heart and bow to each other. And then start kissing or whatever, and then go for it. But it's just a way to honor each other before making love, to set a little bit of an intention, right? So the mind is what gets in the way of sacred sexuality happening most of the time. That and a fear of being vulnerable or sharing how you're feeling, right? And so one of the basic practice you can do is after the heart salutation, maybe you're saying like, I'm grateful for you doing the dishes earlier. I'm grateful for you sharing that walk where we talked about XYZ. I'm grateful for your lips. I'm grateful for your hair. I'm grateful for your humor. And you start to dote on and start to worship on the other. Like, I really appreciate this. I love this. I honor this. I'm grateful for this. And then they do the same. And it starts to like the intensity of intimacy increases. So there's another tip. Stuff is hard. I mean, it takes a lot of that. You really can't do a lot of this without doing like the inner work. And you can't attract someone at the right frequency either if you aren't at the right frequency. And it's really time to step into that divine feminine power. So if you want to chat about any of this, I put the link in the description. You can click on it and we can chat about your sexuality, your spiritual journey, you and your partner, anything. It's a sacred, safe space that I like to hold for women. And we are doing this together. We are claiming the divine feminine power, embodiment of the goddess now. And if you can tell, like, this eclipse energy is wild. Like, the veil is thin. We're in between the eclipses. Like, yeah, it's speedy evolution time. I don't know, Adele, have you noticed this? Have you had some realizations or things coming to you? Because it's like, whoa, potent. I've been lost, but not lost, but lost in the sacred sexuality, love, bliss world. It's really been an interesting thing. This eclipse can have a lot to do with relationships too. So yeah, it's really potent, right? It's a really potent time. So anyone watching this later, if you haven't realized that we're in between two eclipses, the full moon, I think, is next Tuesday. It's the 8th, I believe. Yeah, a lot of synchronicities. Synchronicities are a sign that you're on the right path, like you're going down, you're in your journey. It's like affirmations from the divine, seeing the numbers sequences, or little things like, for me, through this whole week, I have an ex that passed this year, and he kept coming up, and the veil is thin. And so I ended up, doing a meditation where I sat and just talked to his higher self, because I can feel that he's reaching out, and it's, what I'm thinking is, when we're not here in this plane, it's those people that are a little bit more intuitive or psychic that can feel us more, that we want to reach out to. We're like, oh, that person can actually feel and sense me around. It's just a little bit of a personal share there, but yeah, really interesting with the All Saints Day, Souls, Day of the Dead, this between the eclipses. Very interesting, really nice time to honor the ancestors, honor those who have passed, celebrate their life, think of the beautiful things that you did with them. If you want to go all out, you can create an altar with their pictures and their favorite things, but that's not necessary. But you could, right? So I think that that is pretty much it for Vajrayogini. I mostly wanted to share about her because she's not that well known. And she is a symbol in Tantra and in Buddhism. She can be one of the divine feminine deities or supernaturals that is linked to sacred sexuality from that tradition, which is kind of cool. I feel more resonant with Isis and Mary Magdalene and Hathor and that lineage. However, I also love Vajrayogini. So I wanted to at least share a little bit about her and let you know that she exists. And it's a very rigorous religious thing to be her devotee. So hopefully those tips helped. And the activation was powerful for Adele and me. Hopefully it is for you if you're watching this later. And yeah, let me know anything that you'd like me to share about. I'm thinking we could do a fun challenge here in the group soon after this eclipses and full moon, and have a beautiful full moon. Put your crystals out, honor yourself, massage, dance, bath, whatever resonates. I'm going to go to a conscious transmission concert with my womb priestess friend Naomi, and that is going to be a beautiful way to honor the energies of the full moon and this time. And then I'm going to do the Day of the Dead walk on Sunday, which is honoring and celebrating those who have passed. So I have a pretty exciting weekend. Yes, thank you, Adele, for being here. I'm glad that you made it, and hopefully you learned a little bit about Vajrayogini, and I'll talk to you soon.